So we have scheduled neurosonogram into 3 classes. One today, we're talking about the basic views, the standard view, the coronal and sagittal section in anterior fontanelle. Even though I've prepared for posterior fontanelle and other things, we can just quickly glance because next class will be on the supplementary window. Then we have IVH, PVL, that's a separate class which is scheduled. So today we are just going through the brief overview of the basic anatomy. So I'm sure most of you are doing it. That's what I called up Kamal sir and I asked him that whether the postgraduates and the DM candidates are doing neurosonogram. He said yes, they are doing. So that makes things easier. So today, the objectives of the today's webinar web sessions will be on neuroanatomy, principles of ultrasound, technical aspect, performing neurosonogram examination, systematic approach. Probably once we get into the next class, we'll do that. So in the views, it's going to be coronal sagittal view of standard views and supplementary window views. So coming to the today's topic, we know that brain is grossly divided into forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. We have cerebral hemisphere, cerebellar hemisphere, and cerebral hemisphere is divided into different lobes. We have got the sulci, gyri, fissures. We have cortex, which is gray. Then we have gray matter, white matter, deep cortical nucleus. Just mute. Just a second.
There is some issue with the audio.
One second, sir. 1 second.
Yes. Yes.
Don't mute all. Yeah, my slides are visible. My slides are visible now.
No, sir. Yeah.
Visible.
So this is the external anatomy. We have the frontal lobe, then we have your parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe, and this is your cerebellum. Then your brainstem, midbrain, pons, and medulla. So let us start. We can actually do it from inside to outside if you want, or we can do from superior to inferior structure or from anterior to posterior. So let us start from inside to outside. So let us start with this video. You can see this is the ventricular system. You have, this is the ventricular system. So you can see here what you're seeing. This is your lateral ventricle. Then that has got anterior horns, body. This is your occipital horn, and this is your inferior horn or temporal horn. So this looks like, so this is the posterior occipital horn, which we are seeing now. This is the third ventricle. Then we have fourth ventricle. Then we have aqueduct of Sylvius with connecting third ventricle to fourth ventricle. So now let us rotate the image and see. This is the ventricles, how it is placed. So now I have placed thalamus on either side of the third ventricle. So you can see the relationship now. It's very easy to remember. So if you start from the beginning, third ventricle, next to that we have got thalamus now. Superiorly, we have got anterior horn, body, occipital horn, and the inferior horn. So now we'll move on to the next. We are rotating the image. So you can see from different angles. This is the front angle. You can see this is your lateral horn, either side. This is the third ventricle, what you are seeing in the center. This is your thalamus on either side of the third ventricle. I'm sure. So if you start from middle, this is your third ventricle. Then you have your thalamus. Superiorly, we have lateral ventricle. Inferiorly, you can see inferior on here. And if you go posterior, this is your fourth ventricle. So now we'll just move on and we'll try to, this is the inferior surface which I'm showing now. Again, on the anterior surface, we are moving on the lateral side now. This is how it looks. Now we are adding caudate nucleus, which looks like a red chili, which you have to bend it across the thalamus. So that is what we are trying to do now. So we have taken the caudate nucleus, the placement of caudate nucleus on both the sides. You can see it is encircling around the thalamus, but superiorly encircling around the thalamus. There's a gap between thalamus and the caudate nucleus. I'm sure it's very clear for you how we have started. So there is third ventricle, there is thalamus superiorly. Now we are adding internal capsule between the thalamus and caudate nucleus on one side. So now I'm sure it's very clear now. So we can see here again, third ventricle we have placed. This is the center part is third ventricle. So when you're taking the section on the either side, don't expect third ventricle. Third ventricle is always in the center. On either side, you see lateral ventricle. This is the front view. If you stand in front of the baby's face, this is how it looks like, the baby's brain. So this is your thalamus. The red part is your caudate nucleus, and in between we have the internal capsule. So I'm sure it's now we are adding the other part of the basal ganglia. That is your globus pallidus, externa, interna, and then interna, externa, and then putamen. So now we have added interna. Now we have added externa. Over that we'll be adding putamen. Yes. So three things. It's like a cream biscuit. Interna, externa, and putamen is your like a cream biscuit. How you get 3 layers of cream biscuit. So now you can see now. One second. So yes, you can see now. So third ventricle, thalamus, internal capsule. Superiorly, we have caudate nucleus. On the lateral side, you have interna, externa, and the lateralmost part is your putamen, like a cream biscuit. So you can see it's very, very clear. So what we have done now is from inside to outside, we are trying to, this is the center of the brain. What we are trying to reconstruct or imagine the thing. Now you can see that your lentiform nuclei getting connected to caudate nucleus, forming the basal ganglia. Neostriatum we call, lenticular nucleus we call, based on globus pallidus to putamen, and caudate nucleus to globus pallidus. So you can see there is a internal capsule in between, which is piercing the internal capsule and the connection which is happening. This is the superior surface, how it looks. I'm sure the inside part is very clear now. Now we are going to the coronal plane, how it looks. All right. So let us start again. The outermost part is your putamen. Then we are moving from lateral to medial now. Then you have got globus pallidus after putamen. Then you got internal capsule. Then you have thalamus, and superiorly we have got caudate nucleus. You can see caudate nucleus has got head, body, and tail. So you can see this is the tail and this is the head. So this is how it looks like. So this is the anatomic section of the coronal section of the brain. You can see here, this is your putamen, the lateralmost part. Then you have globus pallidus. Then you have internal capsule. Then you have, this is your thalamus. Then you have your caudate nucleus, that is just below the ventricle. So you got an idea about the 3-dimensional idea about the brain, because brain is very, very easy. This is the MRI picture, how it looks. So neurosonogram, we can get almost accurate picture as like this. This is the transverse section, just to give an idea how it looks. So internal capsule, then you have your thalamus, then you have your caudate nucleus. This is your lateral ventricle. Okay, so this is how it looks like. So let us come back with the inside to outside, medial to lateral, and lateral to medial. So once you understand this, things will be very, very easy, because the anatomy and the neurosonogram part of brain is relatively easier than heart. So putamen, globus pallidus, internal capsule, thalamus, and superiorly you have got caudate nucleus. Clear? So medial to lateral, if you want to tell from center to the lateral, medial to lateral or lateral to medial. So putamen, globus pallidus. Next to Sylvian Fisher is putamen, that is SP. After Sylvian Fisher, you get putamen, then globus pallidus, internal capsule, superiorly you get caudate nucleus, inferior and posterior you get your thalamus. So I'm sure it's very clear. So we'll move on to the next. So for your imagination, you can imagine this is the brainstem. Then these two are the thalamus. These two are the thalamus. Can you see the thalamus? And above the thalamus, you have fornix. This is Singh, can you mute that particular person who is speaking? Yeah. So you have thalamus, fornix, and this is how it looks. This is the brainstem. Then you have your thalamus. These two boxes are thalamus. Over the thalamus, you have your fornix. So this is how it looks like. Now we have added corpus callosum. So there's a gap between the corpus callosum and fornix. That is your cavum septum pellucidum. So cavum septum pellucidum, where exactly it appears is here. CSP it is called. This is your cavum septum pellucidum. So this is the thalamus. This is your third ventricle. The blue color one is third ventricle. Green color one is your cavum septum pellucidum. The topmost your callosum, corpus callosum. Inferior one is your fornix. So fornix, you got an idea how it looks. Let us see this video. So that is your third ventricle, the blue color one. 1 second. So here you can see in the first picture, this is your hypothalamus. This is your pituitary, how it looks. The V-shaped structure is your hypothalamus, hanging. And a small pituitary gland, which is hanging over there anteriorly. So you got a relationship between thalamus to hypothalamus, how it is hanging. So this is your third ventricle, the blue color one. On either side, you have thalamus, fornix. Green color is your CSP and corpus callosum. Fornix, CSP and corpus callosum. This is your hypothalamic stalk. Then this is your pituitary gland hanging there. So you can see the relationship, how it looks. Once you know this, then it's easier. So we'll move on to the next one. This is the another video which I was talking. This is your thalamus. In between thalamus, you have your third ventricle. This is your, you can see interthalamic connection. So it pierces the third ventricle. That I'll show you in the ultrasound section when we take. This is your hypothalamus, what I'm showing in the arrow now. Then you can see a small gland hanging. This is your pituitary gland. This is your thalamus. This is your hypothalamus. This is your pituitary. So three relationship you can see. Then interthalamic adhesion. This is your pineal gland. And this four bubbles, what you're seeing is your colliculus, which forms the roof of the midbrain. So it sits on the tectum of the brain. Tectum is the roof of the midbrain where the colliculus sit. Clear? I'm sure you got an idea about how it looks. So you can see thalamic, interthalamic adhesion. Yeah. So we now will reconstruct with cerebral hemisphere. You can see one half of the cerebral hemisphere. You can see here from medial to lateral. I've removed the cerebral hemisphere. You have lateral ventricle anterior on. Then you have caudate nucleus. Then below you have your thalamus. This is your interna, globus pallidus, externa, and putamen. You can see this globus pallidus, interna, externa is like a cream biscuit. Don't give that example. I'm just to make you understand. I'm telling you this. So you can see anteriorly pituitary gland here. So below the thalamus, you have hypothalamus anteriorly, and anterior and below you have pituitary gland. And either side of the pituitary gland, you have your olfactory lobe. This is the relationship, how it looks like. So that's why I'm going a little slow on this particular thing, because we have 2 hours time. 1 hour we will do the live session. This is how it looks like. This is your thalamus, which I've shown in the arrow mark. This is your hypothalamus. Then we are rotating on either side. That is your colliculus, which is sitting on the tectum of the brain, which forms the roof of the midbrain. So this much anatomy, what I'm telling, is more than sufficient for you to get into the scans. So you can see here, this is your pituitary gland, which is hanging from the stalk of the hypothalamus. So we have three things: basal ganglia, which already we have told, limbic system, and ventricular system. Ventricular system, we have lateral ventricle. It's in the center, connected to third ventricle by Monro, then third to fourth ventricle by aqueduct of Sylvius. This is how it looks like the with the 3D reconstructed image. I'm sure things are very clear. I'm sure you're understanding it better. So you can see, which I've already told. This is your head, body, and tail of the nucleus. What you see, this one is your amygdala. All your memory is over there. This is your thalamus. So medial to lateral also you should be able to tell. Superior to inferior also you should be able to tell. Lateral to medial also you should be able to tell the structure of the brain. So it is that easy. Once you have this imagination, how the caudate nucleus sits, how the putamen sits, how the globus pallidus sits, it's easy. I'm sure you are getting a clear idea. I've removed the globus this putamen, and you can see how the interna and externa is placed. The globus pallidus, thalamus, interna, externa. After that, you get your putamen. Clear? This is how it looks like. Globus pallidus and your putamen forms the lentiform nucleus. And caudate nucleus and putamen forms your neostratum. So this is the head, body, and tail of caudate nucleus. Clear? I'm sure I've tried to make it, rather than putting the slide, I'm just giving you a three-dimensional picture so that you get a clear idea about the thing. You would identify structure, but if you don't have that imagination, what is the shape of the caudate nucleus, what is the shape of the thalamus, what is the relationship of hypothalamus to pituitary gland, you will miss a lot of things. So this basic anatomy is very important. So this is how it looks like. So I think I've told you things. We are moving on to the next one. This is the ventricular system, how it looks. I've just made prominence of ventricles. This is your foramen Monro. Third, it looks like a reindeer, with the two horns from the front. And this is your fourth ventricle, and this is your aqueduct of Sylvius. So I think the anatomy we have made it very clear. Okay. Now we'll move on to the actual brain, how it looks, the human brain. The anterior surface, posterior surface, superior surface, and inferior surface. Then we have, this is from the superior surface, how it looks. You can see in between corpus callosum connecting the both cerebral hemisphere. Clear? Yes. Now we have taken the sagittal section of the brain. This is your hypothalamus. Below that hanging is your pituitary gland. Now we'll see this is your midbrain. This is your pons after the midbrain. That is your cerebral peduncle, where your cerebellar hemisphere hugs the brainstem. So this is your pons. Then we have cerebellum with fourth ventricle, where it is pointed. So this is your medulla. Below that, till foramen magna is your medulla oblongata and continues as spinal cord. So the anatomy is clear. So I've shown the three-dimension, the reconstructed, and the human anatomy. So this is your lobes where we are seeing, that is the temporal lobe, lateral sulcus or Sylvian fissure. Deep to the lateral sulcus, you get whatever cortex you get, that is your insula. So if you put imaginate finger into the insula, lateral sulcus or Sylvian fissure, what you touch in the end while inserting through the lateral sulcus, that is your insula. So this is your limbic system. So we have covered basal ganglia, ventricular system, and limbic system. So this video is also very nice, where we are showing the ventricular system, how it looks. I'm sure you're seeing the lateral horns of the ventricles, which you talked about. Lateral horns, cover the breathing. Lateral horns of the ventricle, then third ventricle in the center, connecting centrally by aqueduct of Sylvius to fourth ventricle. You can see here, aqueduct of Sylvius. This is how it looks like, the ventricular system, if you reconstruct with 3D image. Now you can see your cerebral aqueduct connecting to fourth ventricle. Now we'll do the section. We are cutting the section. So in ultrasound, it won't be exactly the slice what we are taking. So you can see here how it looks. So you can see here, this is the both cerebral hemisphere. This is your interhemispheric fissure. Interhemispheric fissure. It's separating the both cerebral hemisphere. So now we have cut and we have come closer to see. What you are seeing now is your corpus callosum connecting the both lateral ventricles. You can see this is your lateral ventricle opening, anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Then you have corpus callosum. You have below that you will have your CSP, and below that you will have your fornix. So that is once encircles thalamus. I'm not in this section. Once you go near the thalamus, you'll get that. So this is how it looks like when we take a coronal section of the brain when we cut it. So I'm sure you're getting from medial to lateral, you can go with next slice. So anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Okay. So this is your cerebral aqueduct. Now we are in the section where posterior horn of the lateral ventricle we are seeing. This is your anterior horn body of the lateral ventricle. Brainstem also you can see here. So now we are cutting it further. You can see this is your thalamus. This is your brainstem. This is here. Now we'll be seeing the This is your choroid plexus. Corpus callosal connection, choroid plexus. This is your brainstem, cerebellum. You can see here on either side. That is your aqueduct of Sylvius connecting to fourth ventricle. This one, arrow which I am showing. So now we did this section of it. So this is the posterior most part of the coronal section of the brain which we are taking, where you have your parietal lobe and occipital lobe and cerebellum, what you get. So this is the sagittal section what we are taking now. We are trying to separate both cerebral hemisphere in the center. So you can see here beautifully, you can see what is this. This is your corpus callosum. Sink, can you mute the particular participant? So from the top to bottom, you can see many structures here. You can see your cingulate gyrus. Then you can see your corpus callosum. Then you see your third ventricle. Then you can see your fourth ventricle, cerebellum. So this sagittal section is a plane where forebrain, midbrain, and all the three brains you can see. And you can see this particular thing. What is this? This is your anterior cerebral artery. And when you take a resistive index, you put a Doppler perpendicular to that, and then you take the Doppler measurements for your RA calculation. So this is how it looks, the anatomy of the brain. So we are trying to recreate the virtual feel of anatomy. Physiology we are not taking now. Yeah, so when you put a scan, a probe over the anterior fontanelle, you can see the layers of skull, then you see skull, then you see your superior sagittal sinus, then you see interhemispheric fissure and falx cerebri, and either side you see your frontal lobe. And uncovering that is your three layers of, this is how it looks like when you put a probe. You have layers of skin, skull, then you have your three matters, pia matter, which is attached to the brain, then you have subarachnoid space and dura mater. So in case of meningitis, in case of infection, you can see the thickening and distance widening, or even if there is any pus collection also in subarachnoid space, you can see. So this is how it looks when you put a probe, like how you read X-ray from heart to the periphery. You can read from top to bottom, from skin to layers of skin through the dura mater, pia mater, and then the cortex, gray matter, white matter, and then other structures. So ventricular system, I've already told you, this is the circle of Willis. This is the boon for the brain, where because of the communicating arteries, if there is any block in any of the artery, this communicating artery, whether it is anterior communicating artery or posterior communicating artery, will always give the spare supply. So that is the beauty of this circle of Willis. So it will try to compensate and cover if there is any problem with the block in the circulation. This is the sagittal sinus. So I'm sure you're all aware of sagittal sinus. Superior to the falx cerebri, your superior sagittal sinus. Inferior to the falx cerebri, this is in the center where interhemispheric fissure is there. Inferior sagittal sinus, you have your straight sinus, transverse sinus, which continues as a sigmoid sinus. And in the center, all the sinuses form cavernous venous sinuses. This is how it looks like. So this is the coronal section, schematic diagram. From top to bottom, if you take layers of skull, then you have interhemispheric fissure, you have your gray matter, white matter, that is your frontal lobe. Then you have your corpus callosum, anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Then you have caudate nucleus. In between caudate nucleus, globus pallidus, you have your internal capsule. If you go a little posterior, you will see here thalamus. And anteriorly, you see hypothalamus. And you have a pituitary gland hanging. On either side, you see your optic tract. So this is how it looks like from left. Redmi, na?
Hello.
Yeah. So my laptop, this one got internet got disconnected. So we will now move on to the next. This one, my presentation will come. Just give us some time. It will come. 1 second. Banta nodu. Motherhood. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So I think my voice is clear now.
Clear, sir. It is clear.
Yeah. So I had a little internet connection. We have issue on the fourth floor. My slides are also seeing, right? So right now it's 2:30, 2:40. So I'll quickly move on to the next section. Yeah, this is how it looks like. So coming to the transducer, I'm sure the anatomy you can easily say now from center to uh, periphery, lateral, medial to lateral, superior to inferior, and inferior to superior. So basic structure, you got an idea, clear idea, what how it appears, so that when you hold a probe, you have a brief idea about the anatomy. Transducer, any type of probes you can use. Curvilinear would be best, depending on the age. If you're looking at the superficial part, um, high frequency probe would be better. If you're looking at the deeper part, low frequency would be better. So based on that, ideally, around 7.5 to 10 hertz or 7.5 to 10 hertz would be a standard one, which you can think of. Marker is always, when you take a coronal section, the marker should be on the right shoulder of the baby. So these are the windows which we look at: anterior fontanelle, posterior fontanelle, masted fontanelle, and your temporal window. So this is what you look at. So anterior fontanelle, we call it as standard view. Rest of the things we call it as supplementary window. But supplementary window is also equally important. The rule of ultrasound is gray appears gray, white appears white. Symmetric is normal. Not all symmetrics are normal. And this is how it looks like. Coronal plane. We're moving on to the next one. Coronal plane. Can you mute only that particular? Coronal plane has got 6 standard views. So this is how it looks like. So first one. Can you mute that particular? Yeah. So the coronal view has got 6 views. First section, we are taking anterior to the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. So in first section, when you take, you see orbit, you can see orbit, you can see orbital ridge, you can see, and you can see cerebral hemisphere, but you won't see any cavity in the brain. Lateral ventricle is nothing but a cavity filled with cerebrospinal fluid. So that in first section, you try to look at the frontal lobes, interhemispheric fissure, and the orbital ridge. Then you cut through the anterior horn where you see the 2 opening in the center of the brain, and below that you start seeing the structure. Then you cut on the body of the lateral ventricle, then on the trigone, then on the occipital horn, 5 or 6 images you can say, and then on the posterior to the occipital horn. So and first and last section, you don't see any opening in the cavity because you are moving away, cutting the section away from the lateral ventricle. Anterior horn anteriorly, occipital horn posteriorly. Sagittal section, 3 on either side. Center, mid sagittal section, 2 parasagittal section we take. So in mid sagittal section, you don't see lateral ventricle because you are cutting through the 3rd ventricle and 4th ventricle. If you take parasagittal section, you are cutting through the anterior horn, where you can see anterior horn, and also sometimes you can see the posterior horn as well. Both the things you can see. And then you are cutting away from the lateral ventricle only on the parietal cortex and sylvian fissure. So where you are seeing through you can see insula and other things with that. So this is how so this is how can you see? Yeah. Yes. So you can see. So my voice is audible. One second. So now we are taking the ultrasound images we are moving. So almost 30 minutes we have spent on anatomy. Now we are moving through the ultrasound section. So that will take another half an hour, and then another rest 40 minutes will go with the ultrasound hands-on. We've covered all this quickly. Yes. Six views will come now. So this is how it looks like. So simultaneously, baby should be comfortably placed, take universal precaution, and place one finger to support the head of the baby, and gently swipe it from anterior to posterior. You can see simultaneous images, and try to keep the interhemispheric fissure on the center. When you're adjusting the gain, the near part and the far part gain should be equal. inner adjusting the gain. So the posterior most what you're seeing, this is your parietal and occipital lobe. This is your interhemispheric fissure. You can see the gain. You have kept the far and near should be equally bright, and gently swipe it from anterior to posterior. This is how it looks like. Now we'll move on to the first section, section C1. That is, we are cutting the brain. We are cutting the brain anterior to the. You can see here. You can cutting the brain. You can see my arrow. You can cutting the brain and to the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. You can see interhemispheric fissure, frontal lobe on either side. This is your orbit, and sometimes this is your eyeball. If there is any lens dislocation also, if you're going with lower frequency where it penetrates the deeper structure, you can see dislocation of the lens, orbital ridge fracture. If periventricular leukomalacia is extended into the frontal lobe, you can see that as well. So if you want to read an ultrasound image, you start from top to bottom. This is your layers of skull, anterior fontanelle. Then you have layers of your meningeal covering. The innermost is your pia mater, subarachnoid space, and dura mater. Interhemispheric fissure. Sometimes you can see superior sagittal opening as well. For that, you have to put a Doppler and you have to see. On either side, you can see frontal lobe. Then you have your orbital ridge and orbit. So first section, three things. One is interhemispheric fissure, frontal lobe, and the skull, and orbit and orbital ridge. Next, this is how it looks like when you take a section. This is the second section where we are cutting across the thing. That is your lateral ventricle, which I'm showing in the arrow. That is your third ventricle. Then you have your fornix as well, caudate nucleus, corpus callosum, internal capsule. This is your caudate nucleus. Below the thing, this is your globus pallidus, interna externa putamen, internal capsule. So which I've already told you. I'm sure most of you are very, very clear about the structures. So this is how it looks. This is your lateral fissure. So if you start from lateral to medial, you have your Sylvian fissure. Then you have your putamen, globus pallidus. You have caudate nucleus. This is your internal capsule. Then you have the two sphere connecting. This is your corpus callosum, which connects both cerebral hemisphere. If there is another opening here, if you have doubt, put a color Doppler. If there is no Doppler in that, that is your CSP, cavum septum pellucidum. Below that, you get fornix. That once you get your thalamus. Then you can see the third ventricular opening through the foramen Monro. Then this is your occipital horn. Clear? So this is the second section where you're cutting across the foramen Monro. Anterior horn, second one, the level of foramen Monro. Clear? So we'll move on to the next section where, because lateral ventricle is connected by foramen Monro on either side, like a reindeer, face in the center and the horns on either side. So the connecting horns is your foramen Monro, where you cut and you try to see the third ventricle. So this is how your caudate nucleus, Sylvian fissure, and your temporal lobe, frontal lobe, you can see. I'm sure the images are very, very clear. So we'll move on to the next section. So from top to bottom, if you want to read your layers of skin, then you have your pia arachnoid mater, interhemispheric fissure, corpus callosum connecting both. This is your corpus callosum connecting both. So you need to look at that. Co-systematic, lateral ventricle, medial to lateral, then your caudate nucleus. Then you have your putamen, then you have your Sylvian fissure, then you have your temporal lobe, third ventricle. This is your pituitary gland, like a red cherry, which is shown here. So anterior to that, you get, if you go little slice backwards, you see your hypothalamus on either side. So this is how it looks like. So next, this is the section with naming. Top to bottom, you have to read. Layers of skin, interhemispheric fissure, frontal lobe, then you have corpus callosum, lateral ventricle, body of lateral ventricle, caudate nucleus, Sylvian fissure, Y-shaped structure. Then you have posteriorly and inferiorly thalamus. Then you have your third ventricle. Then you have internal capsule, which is V-shape on both the sides. Then you have your bit of brainstem, you can see, and the hippocampus curling around on either side. This area is your hippocampal area. So next, we'll move on to the next section. That is at the level of body of ventricle, how it looks. You have to just slightly sweep it backwards or tilt it backwards. This is how it looks like. You can see here, again, the structures will remain same, only that the orientation and the shape of the structure keeps altering. So once you have a three-dimensional view of what we are looking at, so I'm sure most of you are able to identify intrahemispheric fissure, corpus callosum, lateral ventricle, below the lateral ventricle, caudate nucleus, then you have third ventricle, then you have the globus pallidus, putamen, Sylvian fissure. Then you can see posterior horn or the occipital horn of the lateral ventricle. This is your cerebellum. So I've shown each of the structure. This is the naming. I thought I'll do a quiz for this, but it will take a lot of time since you're already practicing and doing. Just to give a brief knowledge, will make it's enough for you. So from top to bottom, skin layers of skull, intrahemispheric fissure, you have your frontal lobe, and if you tilt a little backwards, you might see your parietal lobe also. Then opening, lateral ventricle, caudate nucleus, thalamus, internal capsule, Sylvian fissure, third ventricle here. This is your CSP between the two lateral ventricles. So this is your corpus callosum, CSP, and below you get your fornix. So this is how it looks like. This is your temporal lobe, hippocampus, and part of brain stem you start seeing when you start tilting the probe, because the brain stem is little angulated and placed attached to the brain. So we are into the fifth plane at the level of trigone of the lateral ventricle. So all this section is based on the anatomy of the lateral ventricle. Anterior to the anterior horn, body, trigone, occipital horn, and posterior to the occipital horn. So you can see your lateral ventricle. So we are cutting like this. Your tilting means you're cutting, slicing like this. If the ventricle is like this, you're cutting, slicing like this, you're cutting. So that's why you see the choroid plexus, your parietal lobe, and this is what we look at. Sometimes when we are looking at the bleed, we try to compare with the choroid plexus echo density. We compare with that. So there are a lot of pitfalls. So when we take up IVH and PVL, we will tell you in detail what are the pitfalls where you get confused. So today's class will stick to anatomy of the brain and neuroanatomy and the ultrasound, how to get a proper ultrasound images. So layers of skull, then you have intrahemispheric fissure, parietal cortex, then you have your lateral ventricle with choroid plexus. You can see here within the trigone of the lateral ventricle. This is how it looks like, the fifth plane. So now we are moving backwards. So here you don't see you are cutting posteriorly beyond the occipital horn. So you don't see any thalamus, any this one, because it's all placed in the center of the brain, base and center of the brain. So this is your parietal lobe. Intrahemispheric occipital. Yeah, 1 second. I think my presentation got. So you can see Sylvian fissure a little bit here. So now we are moving on to the sagittal section. So we are cutting the brain at the center like this, so that you are standing on the side of the baby and trying to see the brain. So in sagittal section, as I said, 5 sections, 1 in the center, 2 on either side. So let us see how to sweep it. Always support the head with your finger and don't press too much. Just gently slide, tilt. Little bit adjustment you need to do. Gain also you have to adjust. Far and near brightness should be same. You have to adjust gain. So this is how things looks like. So I've taken a sweep from center to. You can see here. You can see here all the, if you go a little backwards, they call with the lady with the frog. There are a lot of names. You don't have to worry about that. just read from top to bottom how it looks. Anyway, we are taking individual section. This is the center. This is your corpus callosum, cavum septum pellucidum. You have your third ventricle. After that, you get your thalamus. You can see part. Then your connect aqueduct of Sylvius. You can see here. This is your fourth ventricle. This is your cerebellum. I'm sure you're able to see the arrow. All right. So this is the sections what we take. So mid sagittal section. So we are tilting. The probe marker should be will be facing the face of the baby. So this is how it looks like. So we are trying to see. So this section is important, mid sagittal section, because you see all the three brains in one single window. Corpus callosum, you can see your rostrum, body and splenium of corpus callosum. Then you have your third ventricle thing, and you can see a gap here. Yeah, that is your cerebellum. The red color structure is your ventricle, the pons. So these are the structures. So above the corpus callosum, you see cingulate gyrus, then corpus callosum, then you have cavum septum pellucidum, then you have your third ventricle, then you have your, posteriorly you have your occipital lobe. Occipital lobe. I've told you the colliculum will be on the sitting on the midbrain's roof is your tectum of the brain. Then you have your fourth ventricle in front of the cerebellum and in between pons and cerebellum. This is the structure, mid-sagittal section. These are the structure which we need to look at. So this is the part of the corpus callosum, rostrum, genu, body and splenium of corpus callosum. Then you have your cavum septum, pellucidum, vergae, intermedia. You can see this orange color structure. That is your fornix. Then you have your third ventricle. You can see one in between the third ventricle, you can see one white color structure, that is the interthalamic adhesion. Both the thalamus is connected through that. So that you see in the center section only. Then you can see aqueduct of Sylvius going and connecting to your fourth ventricle, have your cerebellum. So I'm sure the parts is very, very clear. So I've tried to make it as clear as possible. So from top to bottom, if you take layers of skin, then you have your cerebral cortex, then you have your cingulate gyrus, then you have your corpus callosum, cavum septum pellucidum, you have fornix, third ventricular, interthalamic adhesion, aqueduct of Sylvius, fourth ventricle. If you move posteriorly, you have cerebellum, anteriorly you have your pons. So from top to bottom also, you can always say the structure. So at the end of this today's session, you should be able to tell parts of the brain from medial to lateral, lateral to medial, superior to inferior, anterior to posterior. There should not be any confusion. So once you know the structure, it is very, very easy for you to do. Now we are tilting the probe little on the lateral most. So lateral side, what you have? Two lateral ventricles on either side of the cerebral hemisphere. So we have taken a center section where third ventricle was there. Now we have tilted and we are seeing on the lateral side. So you can see maybe another few minutes I'll complete this one, then we'll go on answer. So lateral side, this section is important because you are trying to see the caudothalamic groove. So from top to bottom, if you take layers of skin, then you have your parietal cortex, frontal cortex, you can see cortex. Then you have your part of the slit-like thing. What you see is your lateral ventricle, anterior horn, body, and even you can see the posterior horn also. So you are taking the vertical section of the lateral ventricle. And anteriorly, you have caudate nucleus. Thalamus is the posterior part. So C comes first, A, B, C. C, caudate nucleus anterior. Thalamus is posterior. So the junction of caudothalamic, it forms a groove or a dip. So if you see, that is a point where the germinal matrix convolutes and disappears by 36 weeks. So any bleed, germinal matrix bleed in extreme premature babies, you see in that point. Choroid bleed is different, germinal matrix bleed is different. Once we take up IVH class, we will tell you how to differentiate. Sometimes choroid assist. Yeah. So sometimes choroid cyst might give you a false feeling of the germinal matrix bleed. So we'll move on to the next section. Yeah. So this is the second sagittal section what we have taken. So anteriorly you have your C-shaped structure, that is your caudate nucleus. Posteriorly we have your thalamus. So this is the caudothalamic groove where germinal matrix. So grade 1 bleed we actually observe here. So we try to compare it with the skull brightness or choroid plexus brightness. So you can see sometimes if cyst is there, you might get confused with the bleed. So I'll tell you, have to always, another rule of ultrasound is always confirm any ultrasound finding, abnormal finding in two planes. That is either from anterior fontanelle, if you are seeing a bleed, try to see on the posterior fontanelle whether the clot is there in the occipital or not. So that's how the supplementary window will give you that accurate understanding of your abnormal pathology, what you have found in your ultrasound finding. So always in two plane you have to confirm your finding. So these are the structures. So in lateral, when you take mid parasagittal section, caudate nucleus, thalamus, caudothalamic groove, slit of the lateral ventricle, occipital horn sometimes, and cerebellum, bit of cerebellum, part of cerebellar hemisphere also you can see. So moving on to the next section. So this is the lateral ventricle, parasagittal section if you take, anterior horn, body, occipital horn. So you can see in anterior fontanelle where you are placing a probe on the head anteriorly and then you are trying to tilt and see. So occipital horn in this sagittal section you see downwards. Suppose if you are taking through the posterior fontanelle, you see this occipital horn like this erected. So that's how you differentiate. That is one of the way you can differentiate because you are trying to see through the occipital horn when you go through the posterior fontanelle. So this is how. These are the parts which I've already told you. Frontal lobe, your anterior horn, body, occipital horn, have caudate nucleus anteriorly. C comes first, and thalamus posteriorly. You have choroid plexus. Then you have your temporal cerebellar hemisphere. Then you have your Sylvian fissure also partly you can see. Posteriorly you can see your occipital. Based on the anatomic location, you can respect the structures will be seen. So this is the last plane. So this we are trying to cut away from the lateral ventricle through the lateral sulcus. That is, we are trying to see the insula. Insula is when you put a finger from outside and whatever you touch through the lateral sulcus or Sylvian fissure deep inside, that is your insula. So we are trying to see the frontal, parietal and occipital temporal lobe through this and bit of part of occipital lobe also. So this is how it looks like. You can see your Sylvian fissure here, then the cerebral cortex. So here we can get your middle cerebral artery runs through here. So you can put a Doppler and you can see the middle cerebral artery. So Sylvian fissure, insula, I've told you what exactly is insula is. When you imaginate your finger into the lateral sulcus, whatever you touch posteriorly, deep inside, that is your insula. So this is how it looks like. So this is for the Doppler, which we'll take up again in the upcoming classes. This is how it looks like. Here also I can show if time is there. This is your anterior cerebral artery, and you have to place your Doppler line perpendicular to that and start getting the Doppler when you're calculating for RI, resistive index. This is how you take it. You place it perpendicular at the angle, and then you start getting your systolic peak, diastolic peak, and this automatic, what I have machine that calculates automatically RI, auto tracing it is called. So you can. My voice is clear now. Am I audible? Am I audible? Yeah. Yeah. So this is how you take. So in our next class, we can show you when you are discussing on the other pathology. Supplementary window, Kamal sir. Kamal sir.
Yeah. Supplementary windows?
Sir, I've covered the
The
standard
main
view.
Yeah, standard
You
view.
want to use
Yeah,
supplementary window also? I can finish in another 15 minutes.
sure, sir, sure.
No problem, na?
No
So
problem,
if
sir.
they're getting, they can always put it in the chat box, or if
Yes.
if they tell me to, because after this we'll go for hands-on. So
Okay.
I've tried to make it as brief as possible.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sir, I'll continue. So supplementary window, I'll give you a brief picture about supplementary window, posterior fontanelle, master window, and temporal window. As I was telling, always try to confirm the any abnormal find in ultrasound by two planes. Suppose if you have a bleeding, say germinal matrix bleed is there, grade 1, or grade 2 bleed is there, or you see thickening of the ventricular lining. So you get confused with, in meningitis, you get thickening of the line. So in bleed also, when it is resolving, you get thickening of the inner lining of the ventricle. So you see in posterior fontanelle. If you see in occipital lawn, there is a clot, close your eyes and say that is the IVH, interventricular bleed. So, and you can see a lot of structures, especially when you're looking at occipital lobe, you can see more closely, especially in hypoglycemia. So when you are seeing periventricular leukomalacia extending, when you are trying to counsel on follow-up when they come on OPD and high-risk OPD, ultrasound will help you in guiding them. So on a serial ultrasound, when you do resolving of the cyst, any persistence of leukomalacia, bleed, all these things can be seen in different planes. So supplementary window is very, very important, and it gives lot of information. So now we are trying to place the probe over the posterior fontanelle, and that this section what I am showing is the coronal section. So as usual, from the top you have to coronal section, skin, layers of skull, then you have intrahemispheric fissure, you have your parietal lobe, then you have your lateral ventricle, you can see here like eye, then you have thalamus, because posteriorly you can see, uh, depending on where you are angulating. So this is to just to give you a feel, and cerebellum also you can see depending on where you are slicing, or temporal lobe also you can see. So this is how you do the posterior fontanelle. Baby is comfortably sleeping. You are supporting your finger and probe, and gently you are trying to sweep, take the coronal section. From superior to inferior, you are trying to take the coronal section. You can see here, because I always posterior view, it looks like a howl's eye for me. There is no specific name for that. I'm just for you to remember, like a cream biscuit I was telling about, putamen interna, externa and interna thing, basal ganglia. Say similar way, you can see two owl's eye. That is your lateral ventricle, occipital horn you can see, intrahemispheric fissure you can see, and you can see a tent-like structure. That is your below, that is your cerebellum, where below the tentorium cerebri, like Fox cerebri, like tentorium cerebri, it is nothing but a dura imagination. We call it as cerebri. So tentorium cerebri below like a tent you can see. I'll show you in the next one. You can see here. So this is your occipital horn of the lateral ventricle, intrahemispheric fissure, like a tent you can see here, like a tent. So inside the tent you have your cerebellum. So cerebellum, two cerebellar hemisphere, in between you get your cerebellar vermis. So, and part of medulla oblongata, depending on what frequency of probe you are using. Suppose if you want to see the near structure, try to use higher frequency, or you can change if you have variation in your machine and probe where you can increase the frequency. You can increase the frequency and you can see, and simultaneously you can decrease. So initially, when you are trying to try to fix up one frequency and try to get certain images. As you gain experience, as you start enjoying the ultrasound neurosonography with the facilities or the features what you have in your machine, accordingly you can adjust. So you can increase the gain, decrease the gain. First, initially, when you're taking initial image, try to keep the gain where the far and near object should be seen. So this is the coronal section. So if you see any clot here, the occipital arm, close your eyes and say that this is the IVH. So because of, if you have increased the gain, I'll show you a few examples in IVH class when I take next one, where you feel that it is an IVH bleed, but actually it won't be an IVH bleed, because when you take, when you go through the posterior fontanelle, that echo density won't be seen. So the pitfalls I'll show you the IVH class is very particular class. Yeah. So moving on to the next one. So sagittal section. So you can see how we are taking the sagittal section of posterior fontanelle. Support your finger, marker on upper side, the probe marker, and gently try to tilt. So you can see right and left you have to put, mark it. You can see I was telling you the occipital horn is ahead. If you go through the anterior fontanelle, occipital horn is below. So you are trying to see from the back. That's why you will first see the occipital horn at top, and then you see the thing. So try to take parasagittal sweep from center to lateral on right side and left side. Both. So these are the structures which you will be seeing in parasagittal. That is the next slide. Yeah, my voice is audible, right? Yeah, this is the slide. So you can see from top to bottom, you can go layers of skin, same way. Then you have your parietal cortex or parietal lobe. Then you have your calcanean fissure. Then you have your occipital horn. Then you have your part of the body and lateral ventricle. Then you have your choroid plexus, which is bright in structure. And if you below and you have your temporal lobe. And if you tilt a little bit, you can see your occipital lobe also. For that, you have to adjust. You have to have an orientation of where you are actually trying to place the probe. So this is how you are trying to take the sagittal section. So now we are moving to the mastoid view. So in mastoid view, beyond the ear, try to feel the gap, the mastoid window, and you see. So what is there beyond the mastoid thing? You get your cerebellum because you are trying to check at the below the base of the brain. So there is why this particular view is we are trying to see proximally how the cerebellar hemisphere, how the cerebellum looks like. So this view, actually, there are a lot of upcoming studies you can plan for transcerebellar diameter, which we use in antenatal scan. You can actually correlate for the gestational age post. If you are having confusion in the maturity of the baby, you can do that. There are a few studies which have come up, but antenatally, it is one of the thing which they use for assessing the gestational age, transcerebellar diameter. So when you go through the mastoid window, you are trying to see the cerebellum more clearly because you're placing the probe over the cerebellum. So when you're placing the probe over the cerebellum, don't get scared because you are trying to see through mastoid window, trying to see the cerebellum. So this is how we take the sweep of. We have a transverse section in this, and we have a coronal section in mastoid window. Two sections. Transverse, you are cutting the brain like a slice transversely, and coronal section like coronal vein. So you can see both cerebellar hemisphere, and anteriorly you can see your fourth ventricle if you and other parts of the brainstem. So these are the namings which I was talking about. So I've told you brainstem after medulla oblongata through foramen magnum, it continues as your spinal cord. So you can see even in sagittal section also you can see the particular width at the base of the skull. IVH class will give that chart that you can see and their importance of that particular measurement. So cisternum magna can be measured here also. Fourth ventricle can be measured here, and so this is the shape of the. This is so you can see skin layers of skull. Then you have your cerebellar hemisphere one lobe. Then you have vermis. Opposite to vermis, you have your fourth ventricle. In front of that, you have your pons. And then you have other part of the cerebellar hemisphere. This is how it looks like. Now we are taking the coronal section of the mastoid window. So we are trying to place beyond the ear, try to feel the mastoid window and then take it. And you take the coronal. This is the transverse view which I am showing you. Coronal section. I'll show you. This is again the transverse view. Coronal section, just you have to place it coronally and then you can take the section. So you are trying to see transversely the cerebellar hemisphere and you are trying to see coronally in front, trying to stand in front of the baby and trying to see the lower part of the brainstem and the cerebellum. Temporal window, try to feel the temporal window, that is anteriorly, you see this. So this window is very important because the temporal window is actually represents the base of the brain, that is orbital ridge at that particular level. So where you get your circle of Willis. So here also, if you try to transverse section, you can take upper and lower transverse section. Upper section, you can see bit of third ventricle. If you do little go lower, you see the fourth ventricle. So, so I'm trying to show you the transverse section of the brain, how we take a sweep. You can place the color Doppler and get the circle of Willis. You can see circle of Willis over there, where middle cerebral artery, anterior cerebral artery, the one which is closer, that will be in the next slide. I'll show you. So these are the transverse view. You see, because you are seeing through. So first, immediately after your skin layers of skull, you see your temporal lobe. Then you see your posteriorly, you see your cerebellum. Then you see third ventricle or fourth ventricle or aqueduct of Sylvius based on where you are trying to place the probe, and then you see the brainstem. And then at the level of brainstem, you put the color Doppler, try to adjust the angle. You can see circle of Willis, and you can take middle cerebral artery Doppler. So we are trying to see, this is the cartoon representation. So we are trying to take a slice, transverse sections we are trying to take, that is anteriorly. So immediately what you see lobe is your temporal lobe. Then you see part of your lateral ventricle also. Posteriorly you see your cerebellum based on where you are placing, and middle cerebral artery. So here you are keeping parallel, straight to that. Straight you can keep. There you have to angle it perpendicular, so that from perpendicular only you'll be able to get the Doppler. So we are trying to place trying to take the Doppler, middle cerebral artery Doppler. All right. So all this interest and igniting of my knowledge or interest in ultrasound, which has led to me buying one of the best GE machine, is because of my mentor, is Dinakar sir. So I would like to dedicate this talk to him. I'm very, very grateful to him. And I have met other people also, like Daniel Lincolnston from Paris. I've been to, I've attended few simulation courses in John Hopkins. But I've learned more with our Indian teachers and Indian mentors, because the way they explain, the amount of effort they take to make you understand, to make you ignite that interest in this part of our curriculum when we were doing MBBS and post-graduation. So I understand when you're working in a government setup, your workload will be too much, but whenever you get an opportunity, never miss it. It's going to be a little tiring, but the future of your next consultation or practice depends on ultrasound, because next it's going to be a daycare procedure which is going to take over. So in OPD, probably with the scope, because I've started doing that in my OPD, I've kept my ultrasound machine. So if you have doubt, even pneumonia can be diagnosed. You can do many things with this. So this is just the beginning. So you are part of that beginning journey of ultrasound use in our day-to-day practice. So learn it whenever you get an opportunity. Don't hesitate. Even if you make mistake, nobody is perfect. If you make mistake, it's fine, but correct it. If you have an opportunity, if you have a machine, try to hold a probe. Don't just leave it, let call. Just do it. they will anyway do it. But if you do it, your understanding with the pathophysiology of diseases is better than them. So you can actually diagnose quickly and counsel the parents quickly based on your understanding and based on the live real-time images what you get. Thank you. So I would like to thank NNF Tamil Nadu for this opportunity for me to speak in their platform. And I would like to thank Kamal sir, Lakshmi madam, and Rima madam who have given me opportunity, and the entire NNF Tamil Nadu office. Thank you very much. And thank you all the crowd. So now we'll move on to the hands-on section. So I would need a couple of minutes. Now I request Dinakar sir. Dinakar sir. Call deletion. Now we'll move on to the hands-on section. So I think we have finished in 1 hour. Half an hour will go. Can you switch on the video? Dinakar sir.
Prashanta?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now I'll move on to the hands-on section. So meanwhile, if any doubts and queries are there, you can always post it. We'll move on to because there is nothing. You're just trying to see the anatomic structure now today. So we'll try to do that. Just to open up the camera. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ doing this. Yes, please.
Dr. Prashanta, you are muted.
Can you hear my voice? Mute madam. Otherwise, my voice now? Are you able to see me? Yeah. So curvilinear one 8C. So this also you can adjust the probe. The machine what I have, what I'm doing is a Vivid IQ Premium with a lot of features which I am learning now. This has got tissue tracing, this has got everything. I'm trying to learn the thing now. The basic things now. Yeah. So try to keep between 5. You can take any probe what you have. So if you are trying to get very clear picture like a professional, then according to the structure which you want to take picture, you have to adjust deeper structure, lower frequency, superficial structure, higher frequency. So first we'll try to take the come closer here. We'll try to take baby is sleeping comfortable. So we are trying to take the coronal view first. Try to anterior fontanelle. Yeah. So try to feel the diamond shape clearly and try to place the probe with the support. You don't have to press. Baby is comfortable. Can you come this side? Little this side. Okay. So you can see the on the right shoulder of the baby. Clear? Yeah. Right. Can you come near the feet and don't shake. Try to focus here. So now we'll try to hold it properly. I think it's not. It is. You're shaking. Coming, it's clear. Mobile. It's clear. You are just. So now. I'm trying to adjust the gain and so this is the first image which we have taken. So you can see here, this is your, it's a touch screen, so I'm just trying to do it in far. This is your skin layer of skull, interhemispheric fissure, your frontal lobe. Clearly you can see here, clearly you can see the orbital ridge. So if there is any fracture or anything, you will come to know. This is your orbit. Suppose if I decrease the frequency further, you can see part of your even dense dislocation also you can see this. Ocular ultrasound is also there. Probably that we can take it later. I think that is also very interesting. Anyway, so this is the first slice what we have taken, wherein you have tried to place the probe in the anterior fontanelle with marker facing on the right shoulder and trying to tilt, trying to get images of the two frontal lobe with interhemispheric fissure and orbital ridge. You can see orbital ridge and try to keep the gain almost near and far should be equal. So the first image what we have taken is you have understood. So in a similar thing, same position. Now I'm going to unfreeze. So this we saw. This is the first image what we got. Try to make it in the center. Yeah. Now we are tilting little backward. Yeah. So you can see again this is your interhemispheric fissure. Then you have slight opening, lateral ventricle are not that big here. In the center you see that is your cavum septum pellucidum. Above that you have your corpus callosum which connects both the brain. You can see here. Can I get an arrow?
Yes. Just press the keyboard, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Color, track, and set. Anyway, so what we were telling, frontal lobe, interhemispheric fissure, two small slits you can see. In the center you can see a big one. have doubt in that, whether it is any venous malformation or anything, but especially with cavum septum pellucidum. This see, so you can see lateral ventricle coming and joining in the center like a trishul. That is your foramen Monro. Like a reindeer. These are the two horns, and it is trying. The horns is trying to attach the head of the reindeer. So this is the foramen Monro, where you are trying to take the section. That is your third section model. Suppose when I was talking about the cavum septum pellucidum. So one second. So put color doctor, and you see there is no color here. Suppose if there is any vein of Galen malformation, when you are trying to take certain section, you may go posteriorly. There you get confused with that. Especially here also below you can get confused. Suppose if you are confused, put a color Doppler and see. So first section we have taken now. This is your first section, orbital ridge. Then you are trying to speed backwards. Yeah. So this is the foramen. Can you see? This is the section what we have taken through the foramen. Third section. So from top to bottom, you have frontal lobe, interhemispheric fissure, corpus callosum, lateral ventricle, caudate nucleus. You can see a caudate nucleus here. Part of thalamus you can see. Y-shaped structure. This is your Sylvian fissure. You can see Sylvian fissure. And try to keep the. And now you started seeing the brainstem. This is your hippocampal area, temporal lobe, and you are trying to see the brainstem. So now we'll go little backwards. So now we have moved striped backwards. Seeing the cerebellum, you can see the tent-shaped structure here, and you're trying to go through the body of the ventricle. And this Y-shaped structure is your Sylvian fissure. So in premature babies, the normal ultrasound preterm will be different. In term, there will be more sulci gyrae, what you are seeing. In preterm, it's more like a mushroom, and you can see the gap in preterm babies, and especially the echo density will be higher because the neural cell will have more of cytoplasma, so that water content will reflect and make it more echo density. So I think that will take up probably once as and when we see the abnormal classes we take pathology. At that time we can differentiate between the term versus preterm. So this is the section what you have taken at the body. We are trying to look at the cerebellum, and from top to bottom it remains same. See, once you know the structure, it's very, very easy. Now we are going little backwards.
Yes.
Yeah. You can see. So we are trying to cut posteriorly your lateral ventricle and choroid plexus, two echo dense structure you can see on either side. That is your choroid. Suppose if there is any cyst, you can see a cystic type of thing, and you can measure that, and you can confirm it with posterior font. This is the posterior through the trigone where the choroid plexus are there. Now, let's backward. This is your posterior occipital horn of the lateral ventricle. You just see the parietal lobe, part of a little bit of temporal lobe, then you see the occipital lobe. This is your interhemispheric fissure. You don't see any ventricle or any nuclei. Nuclei, brainstem, it is all on the center of the brain, base and center of the brain. So this is the coronal view, how to take the picture. Now you try to place the probe which is facing the face when you're taking the sagittal section, and try to feel the thing. Always support. Now we are trying to get the see of skull. You get your frontal lobe, your parietal lobe, bit of cingulate gyrus. You can get corpus callosum. You can get below corpus callosum. What you have, you remember that geometric structure which I showed you. Below that you have your cavum septum pellucidum anteriorly, Vargae posteriorly, and intermediate in between. Then you have your third ventricle. So now there is one structure. Can anybody tell me what is this V shape which is anterior to the brainstem here, superior and anterior to the brainstem? What is this structure? This one, V-shaped structure. Can you see?
Pituitary stalk.
In third ventricle center, you have a core density. That is where you can see your aqueduct Sylvius coming here. This is your cerebellum. This is the fourth ventricle. This is your pons. So this is the brainstem, what we are looking at. So you have forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. So you can see the cerebellum here. This is your pons, midbrain, pons, and medulla. This is your root. I don't know whether you're able to see. You're able to see, sir?
Yeah.
What I'm showing, is the image clear, sir? Kamal, sir?
Yeah, it is clear. Little bit smudged.
Okay.
Now we can see this, the cerebellum. Now
Sir, you can see now, sir?
no, now it's not seen. So suddenly it has gone off the screen.
Yeah. Okay, come now. It's okay now?
So
This
the
is the
screen is not
mid-sagittal
seen.
section which I have taken. My screen is not seen. And especially when you are taking parasagittal section, see, always you remember that lateral ventricle, posterior part of the lateral ventricle is little away. So you have to place your probe as per the line of the lateral ventricle. That means the posterior part of the probe, see this, if this is the probe, you can't place in the center like this because posteriorly it is little away, the lateral ventricle. So when you're taking the parasagittal section, try to keep little tilted like this. And then you do it. So you'll get a proper image. See? Yeah. This is your posterior part. This is your lateral ventricle split, what you are seeing. Anteriorly, C comes first. Caudate, you have thalamus, and you see the. So I can adjust the groove as well. So that is the place where you check for the germinal matrix bleed. See here, this is your choroid plexus. Now we are going to the third section of the sagittal thing. That is the insula. I'll show you one more thing. The one which you're seeing is your color Doppler, that is your middle cerebral artery pulsation. We'll remove the color, and you can see this is your lateral sulcus insula, which I was talking about. This is the intake insula. So if there is any echo density, leukomalacia, periventricular flare. It can extend. Middle cerebral pulsation can be seen. Sylvian fissure. This is the Sylvian fissure. This is your temporal lobe. And part of cerebellum, if you tilt, you can be able to see. So this is the sagittal section. We started with the mid sagittal section. Yeah, mid sagittal section. Put a color into place. Okay. If you want anterior cerebral artery, then if I want RI, automatically it calculates. So auto tracing it is called. So this can be done manually also. This machine, that is one specialty which I have. So go to 2-dimensional. Now we will try to do posterior font. So in posterior frontal coronal, again on the shoulder, when you're taking sagittal section, the marker should be on the always make the BBC from one side. So try to feel the, yeah, it's here. So try to make the baby sleep on one side. Try to take the support. This is the thing. Okay. Take a little bit of gel. Make sure here. So this is the probe marker which is showing. So you can see your lateral ventricle and choroid and bit of occipital non. So you can see if there's any bleed, you will see that. But this baby, the lateral ventricle was very small, very thin and straight. That's why you're unable to see that clearly. If you have another extreme premature babies, ventricles, if it is big, you can see that as well very clearly, like how we show in the presentation. This is a sagittal section what I have put right now. Yeah. You can see the lateral ventricle, and this is the occipital lawn. But as I said, if you have extreme premature baby, you see it more better. Now we'll move to the coronal section. I'm trying to get coronal. Increase it. Increase it. It's little tilted. This is your intrahemispheric fissure, tent-like thing what you're seeing. This is your cerebellum. Little opening you can see, ventricular opening. This is the one, and I'll try to get the center. This is the coronal plane of posterior fontanelle. Two occipital horn you can see, intrahemispheric fissure you can see, little bit of corpus callosum also you can see here. Puppet of cerebellum. Now we move on to the mastoid. Mastoid, you need to identify the TDM. So put color. Can you expand it?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Fully expand. Okay, expand completely.
Fine. Yes.
Yeah, you can see that middle cerebral artery pulsation. Enlarge it further. Slowly, it's to adjust a little bit to get that. Wait. Circle of village. Yeah, can you? Yeah, middle cerebral artery. You have a little bit of anterocerebral artery. Just forming the circle of Willis is forming. But adjust a little bit more. We'll do the 2D. This is the probe which is facing anteriorly. This is your cerebellum, and then base of the brain. So based on that, you can take third ventricle or fourth ventricle according to the section what we take. Then you can take a Doppler of middle cerebral artery. So this is your This is your temporal window. So posteriorly you have your posterior part of the brain. It's a occipital lobe and other things. Anteriorly you have this. So this is basically you are seeing at the base of the brain. Now we'll go to the mastoid. The mastoid, it is right beyond the ear. This is the mastoid coronal view which I'm trying to take. If baby neck is too short, little difficult. So mastoid is basically you're trying to check at the cerebellum. Window is very, very tiny, but I'm trying to get. Anyway, yeah, any other specific thing you want to see? Dinakar sir? Dinakar sir?
Sir? Sir, we are only seeing the.
Yes. I think we have tried to cover everything except for my slide. We didn't get the window, but most of the things we got it. So it's today, since the class is only on the basic of ultrasound views, trying to get an appropriate, clear image and trying to understand the anatomy of the brain, neuroanatomy of the brain, which is relevant for our neurosonogram and for the baby's pathology is what we have taught. Next classes we'll have on IVH and PVL. And there is a supplementary window also, separate the classes there, its significance and how to utilize that. So today's class was basically on trying to look at brain from top, that is anterior fontanel, from posterior, that is posterior beyond, lateral and beyond, that is the mastoid window. So I'm sure I'm able to, make you understand with the with the 3-dimension virtual anatomy of the brain. Anyway, over to you, Kamal sir.
Now,
Yes,
so
sir.
my only suggestion before we will go for every class, there one small demonstration of the 3-dimensional view, so that we get the parts orientation, and then we can do the further classes
Yes, sir.
each time. That we sort of refresh our anatomy.
Sir, I'm not.
In the anatomy of neuroanatomy is what we should be
Okay.
very well versed with.
Your
before
voice
we,
is breaking, sir.
yeah. Some disturbance somewhere, Yeah. So
Yeah.
our next class will be on Friday, sir. Hello.
Friday, sir. That will be
Friday,
on supplementary window.
A supplementary intro and IBH and
Next week I will take IVH and TVL.
Okay, sir. Okay.
The next
So,
sir.
Yeah,
Would you like to
Prashant.
add anything?
No, Prashant, it's a nice
Any
class.
key things would you like to add?
Prashant, it is a very nice class. Excellent.
Thank you.
Explained and let them do the things. And next Friday, Prashant Gowda is going to talk about normal variants of the brain. Friday, Dr. Prashant Gowda is going to talk about normal variants of the brain. It's a simple theory class. He is going to talk. Number one. Then he is going to tell about easy methods, about what is the coronal easy methods and sagittal easy methods. He will going to tell you people. Then it is done. This Friday is done. Next Tuesday, IVH, PVL, hydrocephalus, then PVHI. Next Tuesday, Prashant Gowda is going to take. Next Tuesday. Then after that, next Friday, Prashant Gowda is going to take about septic arthritis. Septic arthritis.
Scan.
Yeah,
Ultrasound
septic
hip.
arthritis. What neonatologists should know immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, septic arthritis and DDH, displacement of developmental dysplasia of hip, together he will take. Then it will go. Prashant, don't forget. Next one you are going to, next class Friday, you are going to talk about
Yes, sir, yes,
normal
sir, yes, sir.
variants and review.
Yeah. Yes, sure, sir, sure.
Okay, that next Tuesday you are going to take about IVH, hydrocephalus.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Then
sir, yes, sir.
DDH.
PVL and measurements, hydrocephalus.
Yeah. And how to measure.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay, don't forget. Then the next NEC, you are going to take about NEC. NEC, next Tuesday, you are going to take about NEC. Then how to diagnose the malrotation, you are going to take.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So after that, next Friday, probably you are going to take about lung ultrasound.
The basics of lung ultrasound and different respiratory approach, respiratory distress approach by ultrasound.
Always I am there in the
differentiate
background.
Yes,
I
sir,
am
yes,
there.
sir, sure,
If
sir.
anything is there, let me know. And Kamal sir, I am there with you, sir. Always I am.
Sir,
Thank you.
I hope my class was good, sir, today, Kamal sir. See, you muted, sir. Unmute, sir. Kamal sir, you have to unmute. Kamal sir, unmute, sir. We are not able to. Yes, sir.
Those the pictures of the cava, septum pellucidum, and lateral ventricle, everything was very clear.
Thank you,
So
sir.
this was very excellent. Once we start doing it, it will fall in. Very nice, sir. And so we'll have almost like a revision next class. That is on Friday. Sir, as he said he'll go back to all those views again. Fine.
Yeah, normal variants.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Supplementary window, already I have taken class today.
You already
tried to show some cases.
I can show it with some cases.
Yes,
Yes.
sir, yes, sir. I finished supplementary window, sir. Only that mastoid
View.
I could not show in this baby. If I get any baby next time, I'll circle up showed. Then we showed anterior cerebral artery Doppler.
Okay, yes. And we have shown the circle of Willis and all those views. Excellent, sir. So, in which case, then we can say we'll end the class today. Hello? Sir, can you hear me?
Sir.
In that case, can we say that?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, can we say that we can close the class today and
Yes,
we'll
sir.
meet on next Friday?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
And thanks to our speaker today, Prashant Gowda, sir, for his excellent lecture.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Janaka, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank all the audience for the patient listening. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Stop recording.